October 21st, 2024. A man would start a run. This player has dealt with a lot to get to this point. Multiple route changes, many heartbreaking lost runs, and hours upon hours perfecting Jack 3. His name is Xyphles.
Fuck yes! Yes! Fuck!
Xyphles started speedrunning the Jack games in August of 2021, and over the next couple of years would get good times in each of the games, like a 59.59 in Jack 1 no LTS, a 58.42 in Jack 2 any percent, and has found tricks like the specific invuln you do for Daxter chase skip in Jack 2, and a consistent rocket uppercut which made doing lava tube skip less annoying in Jack 1. Jack 3 was far and away his strongest game though, and rose to 7th place in No Oob with a 39.02, a 16 in hero mode, and top 5 in any percent with a 21.59. It's September 4th, 2023, and the past 2 weeks have been very interesting for Jack 3. I got on a streak of new major discoveries, starting with glider skip on August 20th. A 20-second time saver in the glider mission, which was very inconsistent. Inconsistent to the point where no world records have been set with it. On September 2nd, I found Marauder Stronghold skip for all missions, a trick that saved around 40 seconds. And now, September 4th, I would find something even bigger. Temple door clip. By jetboard attacking when you approach certain doors in Temple, you can overload the collision cache and therefore get Jack to clip past the door. And no out of bounds, this skipped having to get the tokens. You just went the other way, clip through the normally locked door to get into the rotator room, hover up, and then make your way to the bridge room. This saved 1 minute and 20 seconds. No Oob was getting taken down. With this time save, Xyphles wanted to grind for a new PB and to potentially get a new world record in No Oob. It wouldn't be easy though, because everyone was grinding for a new time with the strat. The trick was a mix of saving a ton of time and being extremely easy to perform, so people were going to get runs fast. Goofy would strike first, getting a 37.08, 36.30, and a 36.13 on the night the trick was found, already saving a minute off of Bob's previous record of 37.16. Xyphles' big challenger wasn't Goofy though, it was the returning champion of No Oob, Ricky. Xyphles still had a 39.01, and while Ricky's PB was only 9 seconds faster, it was with a route that lost 2 minutes to the one Xyphles was doing, where you roll jump to the cave and skip doing Kangarats, Satellite, and Learn to Drive. This did mean that Ricky had more to learn than Xyphles, and Xyphles got a 38.18, a 38.04 an hour later, and finally a 37.31 an hour after that. That same night, Ricky got a 38.24. A day later, Xyphles would extend his lead over Ricky with a 37.18. Ricky had a pace that was on mid to low 37 pace, but he died in ruins and got a small PB of 38.19. He said he was still rusty, and that when the rust was off, he'd probably be able to get a 36 pretty easily. And he wasn't wrong. 36.44 the next day. Still 30 seconds off of Goofy's record, but he beat Xyphles by 30 seconds. Xyphles would take the lead back with a 36.39 for about negative 40 minutes, as Ricky had gotten a 36.18 right before him. The 36.39 had blood time in early game, being 18 seconds behind after glide. He would turn this run into a 40-second PB. If we take away 18 seconds from the run, that's a new world record with a 36.11. Xyphles also didn't go for flag proxy, as it's very inconsistent and he was still focused on getting a somewhat optimal time first. Flag proxy could save 10 to 20 seconds depending on how fast you get it. It's also worth noting that Xyphles didn't get final laser skip, a trick in the last phase of the final boss which saves 8 seconds. This run had 35 potential. Xyphles could pull it off, and he really wanted it. He knew that at any moment he could see the Jack 3 channel light up with a 35 from Ricky, so he needed to act quickly. Xyphles would get a run with flag proxy and be 37 seconds ahead after Destroy Eggs, but a slow mid-game and nerves for being on this sort of pace got to him, and this wouldn't be a 35. The next day, Ricky would post a time of 36.18, and then an hour later, a new world record of 36.10. Xyphles would get a new PB a couple of hours later with a 36:28. This run was 35 seconds ahead after Climb on Temple, but ended up being only an 11-second PB. He also had a 35 flag proxy. The average flag proxy is about a 23-second time to a 27. He was really close. If he just shook off the nerves, the time was his. A day later, Ricky would get a new world record of 36:06. He was getting very close to a 35. This run was 28 seconds ahead. He would get another potential 35 pace with a 36:02 on the 10th, losing 20 seconds to climb. These guys were both inching ever so closely to the first 35. Both of them could do it. It's just about who would get there first.
Dude, 259. Come on! Come on! Give me this fucking laser skip. Perfect. Come on. No! Not the thing! No. Okay, it's so good. Oh, no, dude! I think the lag killed it. I think it's 36 flat. Oh, it's 36 flat, bro. The fucking lag killed it, man. Oh, dude. Ah, fuck!
Ricky was right there, but a rare glitch that lags the game out for a couple of seconds costed him the 35. On September 12th, the one who got the 35 was Ricky. $35.47. He would set another record with a 35.41 a day later. These were great runs, but Xyphles was a little sad that he didn't beat him to the punch. He had the paces, but he couldn't quite clutch a world record out. He might have been able to still get the world record, but Jack 3 was about to change even more. On September 21st, I would find Volcano Skip. With additional help from Goofy and runners Stellar and Jazzberry, this would save almost 2.5 minutes. By doing a set of jumps with the car on the left mountain near the entrance of the temple, you can just barely get enough height to jump over the invisible wall that stops your car from entering the temple. From there, you can use the concussor gun to push the car on the far side of the temple, and hitting this cutscene trigger will go past another trigger that deloads the car. From there, you could do a ledge grab clip with the back of the car to get past this door, entirely skipping the glider mission and volcano. Goofy, as usual, would be the first to get a PB with Volcano Skip with a 35.30. Stellar would step into the world record competition with a 35.16 a day later, and a few hours after that, Goofy would achieve a 34.59. The world record would be traded back and forth between Stellar and Dudek for the remainder of 2023 until Dudek landed on a 33.03 on October 15th, which would be the last record set for No Oop of 2023. Where was Xyphles during all this? Xyphles was motivated to run other games like Ratchet & Clank Going Commando at this time. Xyphles likes to run a variety of games, and the motivation to grind can come and go. It can be difficult to put full focus into one game when your mind wants to play multiple things. To grind a speedrun, you need to be dedicated to that one game. Xyphles wanted to run something else for the time being. He knew that he would come back eventually, and just wanted to play something new. When he did come back to Jack 3, he came back with a diet. On December 31st, me and Xyphles were in a VC glitch hunting Jack 3. We had been testing different ideas with the invulnerability. Okay, let's cut the crap. Xyphles found the biggest trick in No Oob history.
Oh my god, I cannot believe this.
I'm recording. Okay. So we need to get past that door, which we already do in Volcano Skip. We bypass this as well. So then we grab this to get the task and then die. So literally just in the pit right there. And that puts us back in the rotator room for some fucking reason. I'm back here, and I can.
Fucking consistent. Oh my fucking god!
I don't think there's any timing at all. So then we finish the task, and that's there. So we can just go get it.
There's still an hour left. 2023.
Hey, look at this.
For us 50 people. What the fuck?
We just go.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, so you just go.
Yeah.
Bye,
okay.
Ashlyn.
Yeah. Yeah. No more Ashlyn. No more driving from Ashlyn anywhere or whatever.
Assuming
no
we
any of Temple.
we can fit like the very easy puzzle pieces together, then bye, Ashlyn.
Yeah, so this was interesting. This is a very complicated glitch, so I'll keep the explanation relatively brief. By restarting mission while in a side mission with the second state of the invulnerability glitch, acquired by taking fall damage in Invuln's first state, if you then make it to the end of Lightjack Heal without dying or bonking, as bonking takes away your invulnerability state, you'll get a black screen when hitting the Oracle cutscene. Yes, this is relatively brief. You're however still playable in this black screen, and dying will teleport you behind the normally locked rotator room. You can then get to the top of the rotator room and get the checkpoint there. This will load in the bridge room, so you can just go there. This skips going to Cave, Ashlyn, and multiple drives. The route was a little weird though. You would get Invuln 1 after Arena, roll jump from the garage to the temple, taking fall damage at the end of the segment to enter Invuln 2, go up the temple halfway to get 4 skull gems, then go back down, hop into Dune Hopper, get boost for the car jumps because you still needed to do that, get this side mission, go back to the temple, perform Volcano Skip, then hit the Oracle cutscene. This trick would be dubbed Sugar-Free Temple Skip, and even with that weird route, it saved 4 minutes. The only downside to this trick is that it's really hard. It's almost identical to Volcano Skip, with the insanely difficult car jump over the invisible wall, known cleverly as Carcour. The last jump of Carcour is very difficult, but what makes it extremely difficult is the fact that you only have one shot. You use all 3 boosts to get over the wall, so one screw up and the run is dead. This route also had a proxy that was in the original Volcano Skip route before Jazz and Stellar found the ledge grab clip. This proxy is incredibly inconsistent. Even with it being a very difficult trick to perform, the time save was way too much to pass up, so we decided to get good. I would actually be the first person to get a new record with this skip, with a 32:13 on January 2nd. I knew this wasn't super optimized and that others would beat me, and I wasn't wrong, as Stellar would beat me 2 days later with a 30:57, and on the 5th would get the first sub 30 in no oob with a 29:50. Xyphles in February would start the no oob grind back up again. Locked in with his Peter Griffin layout, he would start with a 35:47 on the 13th. This had potential to 32, but he died in final boss, a mistake that he would never repeat again. On the 16th, he would get a 31:04, and then a 31:02 a couple hours later. Then, on the 19th, he'd get onto another run. a 29:51. He was minus 1 minute and 22 seconds after getting the Light Jack heel cutscene, getting his best segment there, and was minus 1 minute and 30 seconds after Robot. He was on mid-29 pace. Unfortunately, BTR had something to say about it, as on the last hover his input was dropped due to lag, and he lost 10 seconds. He was still on pace, but in Darkship, he hit a weird part of the terrain, and when trying to back it up, he failed the hover, losing him 15 seconds. Going minus 1 minute and 10 seconds into the final boss, he would need to gold to get world record. He got so close to his best segment, but in the end, his PB was 1 second off the record. One new optimization that was implemented was a way to skip the very inconsistent volcano skip proxy. TP found that by parking the dune hopper in a specific way, you can get the camera to not move with Jack. The car deload trigger can only be hit with the camera, so with specific movement to keep the camera locked, you can get around the trigger. This was still a bit inconsistent, but a lot better than the gamble that was the proxy. With the 29:51, Xyphles was so close to the record. All he needed was another run. That run, however, would not be gotten in time. Usual, the game's best player at this time, had gotten the world records for any percent and hero mode, and his next target was no oop. On the 23rd, he would achieve a 29:23 and a 28:47 on March 8th. This would make getting the record very difficult. His competition was now the most revered runner of the game. On the 13th of March, Xyphles got a 29:30, a respectable time, but this run would be the catalyst for his ever-growing hate for PS2. In Bomb Train, he was at the end of the mission, but when going to do an uppercut, the game just ate his input, making him fall to his death and losing him 28 seconds. On PS2, Jak 3 lags a lot. Normally, this would just be a minor annoyance, but in Jak 3, when the game lags, it has a chance of holding your input. This makes hovering, a trick where you need to mash the L1 button, very annoying sometimes. This isn't new for Jak 3 speedrunners, but this was getting increasingly frustrating for Xyphles. Having runs die to his own mistakes is one thing, but the game saying no to him was another. He got a PS3 earlier in the year, and the difference was almost day and night. The PS3 version of the game isn't perfect, but it lags a lot less, and Xyphles would rather play on that console. Apart from less lag, the PS3 version also saves time during loads. The reasons for the community not just switching to PS3 is a bit complicated. Back in the day, Ricky was on PS3, but switched to PS2 to compete with the other runners on the same console. Over the years, we've just thought of PS2 as the overall best version of the game. The one downside to PS3 that people didn't like was punch glitch. The glitch's cause was not known, and people thought that in certain spots it was common for Jak to just punch in a random direction, which sucked for runners. Nowadays, the cause of the glitch is known. When you punch either straight away or straight towards the camera, Jak's velocity will turn towards positive X. Since this wasn't known for a long time though, and due to the competition staying on PS2 as well, no one really switched. It's easy to clown on the community for the decision not to switch, but people didn't want to take the plunge because they wanted to compete with the other players fairly. A world record on PS3 would feel hollow when in the back of your mind you know that you only got it because of a faster console. So while switching to PS3 seems dumb, there were these reasons for not switching. The rest of the video will be covering records on the PS2, and I'll bring up the PS3 version as it pops up in the story. Even with Xyphles' frustration with PS2, he would persevere on the console. On the 13th, Xyphles would improve his PB with a 29:11, a world record pace that died to Darkship. He got a 4:56 volcano skip, which was very good, but the nerves got to him. On the 15th, Usual improved his record to a 28:32, then on the 21st, got the first 27 with a 27:53. This would end up being the last record set for a while. Xyphles moved on from the grind to focus on running other things. It's September 2024. Me and Xyphles wanted to get back on the no-oob grind with one goal: beat Usual. We seriously wanted to grind out the sugar-free route, so we booted up our PS2 and we got to work.
Second grader maxing. real? Oh, no, 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 no. I can't even be mad at that. That's really fucking funny.
What the fuck? I set it to Jack 3. Dude, I'm over here playing. It's my favorite game. I fucking love. It's so good. The cutscenes in are absolute cinema.
I'm fucked. I'm crazy with it. A little bit.
Here we go. Chat. It fades to black. I hear a strange noise, like hooves on cobblestone. You're finally awake.
Xyphles got a 29:03 on the 18th. He went from 24 seconds behind in BTR to a 7-second PB. The potential was already there. Then on the 20th, he got a 28:37. He was seriously practicing the game and improving greatly. This screenshot shows just how much time he could save in the early game. Something felt different about this grind. You could see it in his next PB. He was 40 seconds ahead after Sugar Free. It seemed like this run could be it. It felt to Xyphles that God was on his side for this run.
God is on my side. There's no other explanation. There's a divine entity that's letting me PB. Finally.
Multiple segments with something scary happening, but Xyphles walking away without a major time loss.
What the hell? What the fuck is happening? Jesus has taken the wheel.
Going into Palace Ruins, he was 35 seconds ahead. He extended that lead with a Golded Palace and was 40 seconds ahead.
Oh, baby. Holy shit!
Maybe the run was too good to be true though, and in Darkship, he got an Eaton R1 input which made him die. And then in Final Boss, got a 409, losing him 10 seconds to his usual final boss. The time was a 28:19. Putting him in second place. During this grind, Xyphles practiced a lot, and you could start to see the influence of his gameplay. Jack 3's jetboarding is very personalized, and with enough time watching someone, you can start to see what type of player they are. There's the Ricky flow, where you focus majorly on consistency, and the Goofy style, where you have more of a swag way of playing. With Usual's rise in dominance over Jack 3, his style influenced me and Xyphles. His way of playing was taking the best of both worlds and implementing tiny tech to have that small inch over previous players. Usual's big tech he implemented all over the place was swag hovering. By holding R1 when you initiate a hover, you can side flip in the hover. This was just a cool swag strat people did from time to time over the years, but it is technically faster because when you land from your hover, you can get the side flip speed. Usual started doing this all over the place, and it rubbed off on me and especially Xyphles. Usual also implemented L2 hovers, technically the same as the standard L1 hovers, but they look cooler, and for some it's easier to initiate a hover with. One last piece of tech that Usual used was quick flipping. If you jump and then tap L2 very quickly, you can cancel the height from your jump. If you add a side flip to this, you can gain speed insanely fast. I used it more than Xyphles did during this grind, but it's still a piece of tech that Usual would influence us to start doing. When playing with the best, you gotta learn from the best, and Xyphles was learning from Usual. Another thing that helped with this grind was the amount of small time saves and helpful tricks that were found. Earlier in the year, cameraman TP found a better camera strat for getting past the car deload trigger that was fully consistent, just a bit hard. Xyphles and I implemented it to make sugar-free a lot better of a trick. I found 2 strats in Darkship, a hover at the end of the mission that saved 8 seconds, and a door clip past the last set of enemies that saved about 5 seconds. The hover at the end is a bit tough and was only used for runs that really needed the time save, but the door clip was very easy and was implemented immediately. Xyphles also found a couple of new cycles for Terraformer. Xyphles found that if you take different lines, you can get Supervillain Cycle. There are many more backups with this as well. You can get Sidekick Cycle, which loses about 5 seconds to Supervillain Cycle, and you can also get a cycle that is equivalent to the cycle done in Hero Mode, which loses about 5 seconds as well. You can also still get Fast Cycle and Normal Cycle with this. This is a little confusing, but the bottom line is that if you can get Supervillain Cycle, you can save 10 seconds. There was also a faster BTR restart warp that was found by Goofy in 2022, but I rediscovered it and was another strat used on a run that needed the time save of about 5 seconds. Lastly, I found Wizard Shot, a reroute and bomb train that saved about 5 seconds, another last-ditch time save. All these strats made for an interesting risk and reward factor for each run. You could go for Wizard Shot and risk losing 10 seconds instead of saving 5, and you could go for the faster BTR restart warp to save 5 seconds and risk messing it up and losing the whole run. These strats would help us on our grind. Speaking of us, I was still grinding too, and while I didn't think I would get the record, I still wanted to get top 3, which was a 28:30, and on the 29th, I got a 29:15, losing 50 seconds combined in Bomb Train and Robot. I would end up tapping out with a 28:26 on October 7th. I did have the potential to beat Usual, but it was very tough for me. It was a lot of fun to grind with Xyphles. We both leveled up our gameplay. I VC a lot with him. I mean, I'm in the call in the sugar-free discovery video.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
And I've seen him lose a lot of world record pace runs, from the door clipping era, to the beginning of sugar-free, to now. But this was his time to shine. All his practice will pay off. On October 5th, Xyphles would get a 28 flat. He lost time to getting normal cycle, and then got really unlucky with final boss lag, the same lag that had hurt one of Ricky's runs. This was tragic, but he wasn't going to stop. On the 15th, he got a 27:59, barely clutching out the sub 28. Now he was just 8 seconds away from the record. He also tied the 27:59 to the frame on the same stream, another world record pace that died to final boss. The next day, he got a 27:57. Every day he was getting paces. He was so close. As he said in his 28:18,
Persevere, bitch.
October 21st, 2024, Xyphles would start a run.
Is it it? Oh my god! Holy shit!
He died. He died in the last possible place in the run. He just fell off the final boss platform in the last couple of seconds. How could he do this? After all this time of grinding, he had his chance to get the world record, but he failed. This run would not be the world record. But what if I told you that Xyphles could do it again.
Fuck yes! Yes! Fuck!
27:48, the new no-oob world record. He got this run the next attempt out of training course. It took Xyphles over a year to get this record. A year filled with many close runs, multiple route changes, and a lot of practice. Xyphles could now say he's on top of no-oob. This is the end of our story. The past 7 months have been very interesting for no-oob. Usual beat Xyphles' record in January and brought the run down to a 27:19. Xyphles grinded no-oob on PS3 and got an incredible time with a 26:12. In April, I found a full temple skip which saved over 4 minutes and changed no-oob yet again. The world record was traded between Usual and Xyphles until Usual landed on a 22:16, which is where the record stands as of the release of this video. A world record never tells the full story. A world record is the highlight, but there's so much more to someone's journey than the time they end on. Through Xyphles' grind to the top of no-oob, this lesson is clear to see. Thank you for watching.